Hello, and welcome to the second half of the conversation with George Stone Jr. George played Major League Baseball for the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets from 1968 until his retirement in 1976. George continues the conversation today, where he is reflecting on his Major League Baseball career and, of course, all the characters that he was privileged to play with and meet along the way. We hope you enjoy this final segment of the conversation with George Stone. If you have someone you would like to hear on Mike's weekly Conversation podcast, just text us your name and the name and contact information of the person recommended to 318-202-2046. Don't forget to download the show's app from the Apple App Store. Just go to the App Store and search for The Mike Stone Show. Hit the Get button and listen on your favorite Apple device. Now, let's go to Mike for a very interesting ending of the conversation with George Stone.
You think it may have been some disappointment that the Braves would be willing to trade you, that you may have felt like you didn't quite measure up for the Braves?
Well, I think so. I was part of it. I was part of it, too, I felt like. And I felt maybe I let the Braves down because, and in the way I did, I guess. But I had, like you said, I had a couple of pretty good seasons there. I had some arm trouble. And our manager, general manager, for some reason, I did not get along with them. I usually get along with anybody, but for some reason, they just didn't seem to think that I could help them out. And you know, I really don't blame them because I didn't even do that well there. Like I said, a couple of good seasons, but then I had some arm trouble. My arm wasn't as strong as it needed to be. I know that, and I just couldn't last the whole season. And so I pitched some good games there, but I guess they felt like that they could trade me and maybe get something that they could depend on more.
Yeah.
So, but that was part of it. I think a pride thing, you know, hurt my feelings, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It hits you. I mean, for anybody, it hits you there. You know, maybe a little pride, level that. And I know you're feeling about New York. That just wasn't your type of town. I don't believe. You know.
No.
But it did work out. So now you've made the transition there, and now you come into a team, my gosh, that had some world-class pitchers. I mean, Tom Seaver.
Oh, yeah. My goodness, yes. Yeah.
Tom Seaver, Kuzman, and Matlack.
John Matlack, yeah.
I mean, great pitchers. And now you're on a team that can, have a whole lot of success, and you did. Yeah. I mean, the 1973. And, of course, now, I mean, your career, unbelievable. You said you started off, Bob Uecker was your catcher. You played with Willie, with Hank Aaron. And I just want to go back just a tad to Satchel Paige, the famous Negro League baseball player. He came to Atlanta, and I think Atlanta was just trying to help him with his retirement.
That's
but
right.
Just briefly, tell us about your time with Satchel Paige.
Oh, I love Satchel Paige. He and he for some reason, he kind of took me under his arms. I don't know why. And but I talked with him a lot. And like you said, the Braves put him on the roster for a while. He liked a little bit to have his retirement. And, the rascal could still pitch. I'm telling you. He pitched. He pitched some of the exhibition games, spring training games, and who knows how old he was? I don't think he knew how old he was, but he was just a happy-go-lucky guy, loved life, and he was just loosey-goosey. He said, "I'm just jangling." That's what he'd always say. "I'm just jangling." And that's kind of the way he walked and carried himself. He just jangled. But he was a fun-loving guy, and loved everybody, talked to everybody. He didn't, everybody loved to talk to him. Everybody loved Satchel Paige, and he loved everybody.
Yeah, we got a chance to go to Atlanta. We never got a chance as a family because Atlanta was doable for us. And I remember one time when we were there, Satchel Paige, and you brought Satchel up to the fence there where we could talk to Satchel Paige. And
yeah.
I remember him asking our mother, Miss Stone, you're Louisiana. I know you can cook. Now, what do you cook there in Louisiana? And she talked about, what she all cooked. And she was a great cook, by the way.
Yeah.
And they had a great conversation, Satchel and my mother. And I guess my daddy chimed in. But he just acted like he was part of the family.
Oh, yeah. That's just the kind of guy he was. He didn't have any enemies whatsoever. Everybody was his friend, and he didn't mind who he talked to, whether they were black or white. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
He just loved people. Loved to be around people.
Now, this is a question probably one of the best. Well, it's not the best question I got, but this is one of them. Pitching on baseball's biggest stage, which major leagues, around the world, there's a lot of mental pressure, a lot of psychological pressure. And I've often said, no way I could have handled that in my personality. I just no way I could have done that.
Yeah.
So how did you handle some of the mental pressure and that has to be part of it, the psychological and mental part of the game.
Well, sure it is. Yeah, sure it is. And the lack of that kept a lot of guys from having a good career. And I saw it a lot of times. And especially guys that play every day. Baseball is a game where most of the time you're going to fail. When you think about it, you get 3 hits out of 10, that's 300. That's a pretty good batting average. But you're failing 7 times out of 10. If you can't handle some failure, then you're in the wrong occupation. You've got to be able to handle defeat. You've got to be able to handle failure. And a lot of people say, well, you need just learn how to lose. No, you don't learn how to lose. You learn how to accept losing. But go on from there. In baseball, as many games as you play, you can't dwell on a single game because you play in the next day. And if you're a regular player, especially, and so those guys particularly had mentally, emotionally, psychologically, they had to be ready every day. And what you did yesterday, forget. Whether you did good or whether you did bad. What you did yesterday, forget. Oh, this is another day.
Yeah, I think you're.
Of course, one good thing about baseball too, you can, you have a bad game. Well, hey, tomorrow you may have a good one.
I think you're absolutely right about probably a lot of great players, potentially great players, just could not handle the mental and psychological part of the game.
Couldn't handle it. That's right. Yeah. I saw some breakdowns. Guys that, most of them up there were used to success to some degree anyway. And if they got up there and didn't have the success that they thought they needed to, they couldn't handle it. And they broke down.
Yes, yeah.
Had to get out.
Well, the 1973 World Series team with the New York Mets, man, that was quite a year. You had a tremendous year. I know you went 14 and 3. I think I'm right on that.
Something like that.
Yeah, of course, at the end, there the last couple of months, you were about as hot a pitcher probably in the major leagues at that time.
Well, probably so. I think I won 8 in a row, I believe. At that time in August and September, I think I won 8 in a row. So, I was a pretty hot pitcher at that time. And,
of course, your manager, Yogi Berra.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How about the Yog?
What a great guy. Good guy to play for. Yogi was, Yogi was just Yogi. I mean, what else can you say? A lot of people have read his quotes, and he was like that. He'd say some things off the cuff and off, you might not even understood what he said, but he had that kind of personality and was real good to play for. He was a good players manager. There might have been times that he might not have thought ahead as much as he should have as a manager, but we had some good coaches, real fine coaches at that time that I think helped him out. I'm going to say it like that, helped him out a lot as far as strategy, what to do, when to do it. They were real good, and Yogi understood that. I mean, he knew he wasn't the smartest guy around. I mean, he was just a natural ball player when he played. He was just a natural ball player, and but there's times in pro ball, if you're a manager, you got to think inning ahead or 2 or 3 batters ahead. You got to do that, and maybe he didn't do that as well as he thought he should, but he had some good help, and we had a good bunch of guys, like you said. We had some top-notch pitchers, and really, I probably learned more from those pitchers than I did from any pitching coach that I had. And that's probably right for the majority. I'm going to say the majority of the pitchers in the big leagues. They probably learn more from each other than they do from a coach. Because I can remember asking some of those guys, all right, look, what would you do in this situation? Or ask them about some grip on their fastball or breaking ball or changeup. How do you do this? And or some kind of strategy and pitching. I can remember asking Tom Seaver locker right next to me, and I can remember asking him what he would do in a certain situation or how he would handle that. And there's several other pitchers that I would pick their brain, and also try to find some kind of grip on a ball that would maybe make it move more or break more or whatever. So we learn a lot from other pitchers.
Yeah, that's interesting. That I know you talked about that before. That pitching coaches they were all right. They did okay, I guess, in handling, but you learn so much just by being around the other guys, and you were around some fantastic pitching there with the Mets, there's no doubt. And and also with the Mets that year, you played with the legend Willie Mays was on that team.
Legendary Willie Mays.
Say hey, kid.
He was kind of a Satchel Paige kind of guy too, just a happy-go-lucky guy, and I think mainly by the time he got he had lost most of his skills, but I think they got him just for clubhouse presence, dugout presence, because he didn't really get to play that much. But he was great in the clubhouse, great in the dugout. I mean, he was just like another coach, really. And he kept things loose in the dressing room, in the clubhouse. He kept things loose, and he was the kind of guy, I mean, he'd just soon talk to me as he would Tom Seaver. It didn't make any difference who you were, what level you were, or whether you were a big star, or whether you were just, no matter who you were, Willie Mays was going to mess with you. And that's what everybody liked about him. Great attitude. And I remember some things happen sometime on the field. Situations would come up. And after the game, they may go into the reporters weren't allowed into the training room. But they had, whatever the situation was, they'd go in the training room and they'd ask Willie Mays to come in. And so he was a mentor to a lot of the players, and whatever happened, they want to know what Willie Mays thought, what he would do in a certain situation. So that's how he helped, and it was a great deal of help that whole season. Like I said, he didn't, as far as physically on the field, he had lost most of his ability, but it's just his presence that meant so much to us.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk. You played with some great people. You played with some of the greatest that ever played the game, and I've heard you make the statement. You thought Willie Mays, maybe for all around, maybe was the greatest player that you played with, and maybe the greatest player ever.
Maybe so. Oh, there's no doubt about it. He would be, like I said, Bob Gissel would be my pitcher if I had to win a game. Willie Mays would be my center fielder too. He was that great, and he was great offensively and defensively also. Going back to Aaron now, Hank felt like, I'm not going to run into that fence because I'm here to hit home runs and I don't want to get hurt. Mays would not run into the fence. He'd go through the fence.
Right.
To catch a ball. And I've seen him do it. And so he was a great defensive player, I think, probably even underrated. And people always talk about that catch that they keep showing on TV in the center field when he turns his back and catches the ball going away. I think it's in the World Series. And everybody talks about that famous catch. And I remember asking him about that catch one time. He said, I've made no telling how many catches a lot better than that. And I've seen him make catches a lot better than that. And the reason why, he had so much room there when he caught that ball, he had to run a long ways for it. And it was in straightaway center field. And he had, it was a great catch. He had his back turned, but he had plenty of room. He didn't have to deal with a fence. When you have to deal with a fence, it's a whole lot different. But he dealt with fences. I'm gonna tell you, and I've seen him do it.
Yeah. What a great player! What a great human being. He passed away not too long ago. He lived to a long age.
Yeah, that's right. I think he was 90-something.
Yeah. Well, the 1973 team with the Mets, that was a great year. Sort of like the 1969. Mets, of course, they went all the way in 1969, but in 73, y'all came from way behind, and just didn't seem like there was any way in August. Y'all were way behind, and then came up and.
Oh yeah.
And
a lot. In August, I think. Gosh, I don't know. It might have been in fourth or fifth place. I don't know. It wasn't that far out. As far as games, wasn't that far out of first place, but. We were down the line there, and nobody gave us much hope. As a matter of fact, I think it was in August sometime. My wife said, "Look, if we get in the World Series," and I said, "Yeah." I want to buy me a fur coat.
Oh,
and I said, "Yeah, sure will."
Oh yeah.
Thinking. Ain't no way we're gonna get in the World Series, but this was in August, and we were several games out. But we got hot in August, and I think I went down to the very last day that we won it, and some unusual things happened. The last month or two of that season just went our way. Unbelievable things, really. And I can just remember several things that happened. Gosh, maybe we will have a chance. And so we got hot. The pitching was good, and I was hot at that time. And the other pitchers did well too. And we just seemed to score enough runs most of the time, just barely enough runs to win the game. And I think it went down to the very last day.
Yeah, I think it was the old weary Cubs that y'all took over.
Old Cubs, that's right.
Once again, that was the great curse on the Cubs a little bit. That was actually Boston, but Cubs had a curse too.
Yeah, by all rights, they should have won. Cubs should have won that day. I mean, they really had a better team than we did, maybe, except for the pitching. And but so yeah, they should have won it, but they didn't.
No, they folded. Had a terrible last part of the season, terrible. And now you are facing the mighty Oakland A's. I think they had already won 2 World Series back to back.
Won one.
Okay.
When we play them.
All right.
This was their second time in the World Series.
Oh, Chuck Finley's mighty Oakland A's. He brought a little flash to the baseball world. Chuck Finley.
Oh yeah, he did. I never did get to know him or anything, but he put together a team there that was solid, and in every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And they were better than we were. We knew that, but a lot of times the best team doesn't win, especially in baseball.
Well, you had 2 players there that stand out in my mind. That would be Reggie Jackson, who was playing with the A's, and then the fantastic pitcher, Catfish Hunter.
Catfish Hunter was a pitcher, Vida Blue from Louisiana. I believe he's from Manny. I believe he's from was a good pitcher there, and they had Raleigh Fingers in the bullpen, who was and I think he pitched every game. Ended up pitching in every game down to the 7th game, and I think he pitched in every game. He was a good relief pitcher.
Well, one of the most memorable times for our family was, of course, the World Series would be on TV, and I don't know. I think it was the first game of the World Series, maybe, and
I think it was the second game when I came in relief.
Yeah, that second game.
Yeah, okay. It was the second game, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, they did bring you in relief, and we'll talk briefly about that in a moment, about why people think, and even Yogi thinks you should have made a mistake and did not start you. But on the second game, you came in, and I believe you came in for Tug McGraw. I believe Tug McGraw had been pitching. You came in and relieved him. And you had a couple of hitters there that may be renowned, like Sal Bando, Joe Rudy, and Reggie Jackson. That's who you faced.
All right, that was the last game when I faced them.
Oh, okay.
Well, I faced them that game too, but that was the last game when I struck those 3 out in a row.
Oh, well, I got my times mixed up there.
Yeah, that's okay. I just came in for the 1 inning there, and I faced a few guys there, and picked up a save from Tug in that second game.
In that second game,
right?
And I believe you have a picture there in your house with after that game. Tug was out, be the first one to greet you.
Tug was the first one out there. That's right.
Yeah.
And Bud Harrison, I think, was right around there, and Felix Millan, who was he and I were traded together to the Mets. Felix was with the Braves for a long time.
Great second baseman.
Great second baseman. Great guy too. And
I don't know how many people remember Tug McGraw, but they should remember the big sign. He got everything going. You got to believe. You got to believe.
You got to believe. That's right. Yeah, everybody had that sign there. Shea Stadium, they brought those signs. You got to believe. You got to believe.
And of course, Tug McGraw. People, if you don't remember Tug McGraw, I would imagine everybody in the audience probably knows Tug's son, who we won't go into detail about that parentage, but Tim McGraw was a son.
Tim McGraw was his son. That's right.
Yeah, the singer,
country music singer. Yeah, I was around him a couple of times, and he's from the Rayville area. That's where he was raised, and just an old country boy, and happened to hit it big. He's been in my house here.
Yeah, I remember that story. Can you tell us briefly about when you met when Tug?
Yeah,
of course, Tim.
Yeah, he
Tim.
was in Tim was in school at it was Northeast Louisiana University at that time in Monroe, Louisiana. He was in school, and he was working a little bit on the side. I think he was selling siding on the house. Well, he found out Tug was his dad, and he knew that I played with Tug, and so I don't know how he found my phone number or anything, but he calls me up and said, "Can I come over and talk with you?" And try to save some siding too. But I said, "Yeah, come on over." And so he came in, knocked on the door. I opened the door and I looked at him, and I said, "You are definitely Tug McGraw's son. I can tell you that."
Yeah.
If you have any doubts. I mean, he looked just like him. And I said, if you have any doubt, don't worry about it now. I said, "You're Tug McGraw's son."
Yeah.
So he came in, we talked with him, had a good visit. He asked about his dad. He didn't know his dad. And he asked about all about his dad. And of course, I told him a lot about him. And I think he met him not too long after that. I think he dropped out of school and he was playing in bands all this time, singing. And he finally got a break, hit it pretty big, and finally met his dad. And so Tug didn't even know him, didn't know he had him, Tim, but and didn't want to admit it at first, but he finally did, and they eventually became very close the last few years of his life. I think he even lived with him the last few years of his life.
Yeah, Tug passed away a little bit early, but I do understand, diving into some of the music that I have, that Tug really helped him, maybe financially to get started in the music business and put him with the right people and so forth. But you have to give Tim McGraw his own due, because he had the talent. He had he had the looks. He had all the makings of a star. Of course, he married pretty well too with Faith Hill. It did pretty well. They got 4 or 5 kids, I think.
They do, and I think they're I think they're Christian from what I understand. I think they're strong.
That's right. Christian
people there. They have a strong faith, which is good. And I don't think they got it from Doug, but hopefully they do.
Right. Well, the World Series in '73 went to 7 games, I believe. It was a great series, and the A's were mighty. I mean, they had the players, and
they were better than us, really. All around. Most of the teams we played, our pitching was better. I mean, you have to admit that, but not them. They had the pitching, and they had everything else. They had a real good defensive team. Had some good leaders on that team, real strong leaders that had been together a number of years. And like you said, the 7th game, I should have started the 6th game. That's what I thought, and it's what everybody else thought. And matter of fact, I talked with the manager for the Oakland A's. We had some kind of old timers thing at Shea Stadium about 10 years after the series. And Dick Williams was his name, and I talked with him. He was he came there. Old Oakland A's and old Mets were there, and he said, "I don't know why you didn't start the 6th game." He said, our scouts said, and we talked about you. We just knew you were going to pitch, so we had all our scouting reports on you, knowing that you were going to start the 6th game because of what, you were a hot pitcher and what you did in a save the 2nd game and what you did the last couple of months. He said, we just knew you were going to start. And we were kind of shocked when you didn't. I think everybody else was, and even some of my teammates went to Yogi and said, "You got to start Stone. He's a hot pitcher. He's the kind of pitcher that pitches well against a team like Oakland. They're type hitters." He said, and we were at that time we were up one game, and he said even if we lose the sixth game with Stone, you got Seaver coming back with an extra day's rest, and you have Seaver and John Matlack for the last game, and you can't beat those two combinations. But I don't know, it didn't happen. I never questioned it. I never knew why, and our conjecture that Seaver wanted the ball, wanted to pitch. Somebody said that the management, the ownership, wanted Seaver to pitch. So, and if he pitches and wins, he probably gets MVP. If I pitch and win, I probably get MVP. So, but it didn't happen, and so that's just the way things go. Sometimes I'm not bitter about it. Never did say anything to anybody about it, and that's just the way it is.
Right. Well, what I've been told and read that Tom Seaver maybe lobbied Yogi real hard to pitch that game, and he was a competitor, fierce competitor. And
you
have to understand.
He always wanted the ball. Yeah.
So you're playing in the biggest professional baseball, and you're playing on the biggest stage in the World Series. Did you ever stop and think, wow, I'm a little old guy from Louisiana. Here I am in the World Series and playing professional baseball. Did it ever, was that just something that?
Well, going through it, I didn't that much. Now, after it was all over, and even years later, you think about it, and my gosh, there are a lot of great ball players that never played in the World Series. And here I am, got a chance to play. Feel honored about that, and that's what you work toward. And I just felt privileged to be able to have opportunity to do that. But going through it, when you go through it, you got so much on your mind, as far as what you're going to do in the game, that you don't really think about it that much while you're going through it. But it's after everything is over that you look back and said, "Oh my goodness, what did I just do? I just played in the World Series." Yeah,
well, and, I've known you all my life. You had the disposition, though. You had the personality and the makeup to handle that. If I'd have walked out even playing a regular game in a World Series, and I'd imagine a lot of the listeners can, if they dig down deep, you walk out of the mound, I would just freeze, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about, man, the sheer bigness of where you are. It's bigger than life, but that really can't cross your mind if you're going to be effective and do what you need to do.
Well, that's true. And some guys couldn't, they couldn't handle that kind of pressure. But like you said, I don't know, for me, I never paid any attention to the crowd, what the situation was at that time. I had a job to do, and I knew what I had to do, and I just concentrated on that. I blocked everything else. You block everything else out. It's just you and the catcher, and that was my mindset. Sometimes I didn't know who was hitting. Didn't matter. I was going to throw the ball where I needed to throw and what I needed to throw, and it was just me and the catcher, and I blocked everything else out.
Yeah, that's the mental advantage that you had, and I think maybe one of your biggest assets besides having great control as a left-hander, which was probably your biggest asset.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. These guys now, uh, even you got guys in high school and college now. They throw mid nineties and above. And just my time, well, there might have been a handful of pitchers that threw mid nineties or above. Now Seaver did with us. Of course, Nolan Ryan. I didn't get to play with him, but I faced him. Jerry Koosman did before he hurt his arm, and you got Bob Gibson, Steve Carlton, Juan Marichal. You had maybe a handful of pitchers that threw mid nineties above J.R. Richard did from Ruston, but you didn't have that many. But now it seems like these even high school kids now throwing in the nineties. And if you're in college, especially D1 college, if you don't throw mid nineties, now you're not even a prospect, and that's unfortunate. Because there's guys that I think could play, could pitch in at the highest level, and not throw mid nineties, but they're big on velocity now. And that's just that's how things have changed in the game.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it's due to all the training that they receive now. The physical training, all
Right.
the preparation that they go through, and bigger, stronger, and training has made a big
That's right.
difference.
That's right. See, we didn't even lift weights when I was playing high school, college, pros. We didn't lift weight. We really had no training. And these guys now, like you said, these guys now have personal trainers that even go with them on the road trips. They go with them everywhere. They got personal trainers, and they do all kind of them. And they lift weights and have strength and conditioning program all year round. And they are. They're bigger. They're stronger. They're faster, and they can play now. I don't know that they love the game maybe as we did, to have pride in how they played the game. I don't know if that's there. There's so much money involved in it now, and I think a lot of the players now, that's all they're after is the money. But we didn't, most of us didn't make that much money. When I was playing, you had to go back to the handful. They did, there's some guys that made pretty good money, but nothing compared to what they make now. But us regular guys, we didn't make that much money. So it wasn't a money factor why we played. Because we really love the game.
Oh, yeah, the money, unbelievably how much in the last 15 years, and especially the last 5 or 6 years, the money there is unbelievable. And had you had a 14-3 record now, you'd be reaping millions of dollars on your next contract.
Oh, yeah,
but that wasn't,
I'd be a millionaire.
That wasn't the way it was.
That's exactly right.
So after 73, you sort of had arm trouble after 73. I think you had a rotator cuff issue.
Right. I had shoulder rotator cuff injury the next year, and it stayed with me. I tried to pitch, and I could throw okay, but my recuperation after I threw, I couldn't come back. If I could have pitched every 10 days, I'd have been okay. But I just couldn't come back from it, and it took me so long to recover after I did pitch, and there was some pain involved there, but I didn't have surgery. I chose just to try to rehab it myself, and I came back to a certain degree, but like I said, I couldn't after I pitched my recovery time was so long, and of course, you have that situation, you can't play there at the highest level.
Yeah, I believe you went to the Texas Rangers in spring training the next year,
Right.
Maybe
it was 76.
76. Okay.
75 was my last year with the Mets. And so I went to spring training with the Texas Rangers. I knew my arm was still bothering me. I thought maybe it would work out somehow. But I went to spring training, and I did okay. But I knew it. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. They wanted to send me to AAA ball. And I asked the manager, I said, well, how many guys are ahead of me if I go to AAA ball? And he said, there are a couple ahead of you. And I said, well, I'm going to retire. At that time, my wife, Diana, was pregnant with our first child. And so I decided rather than to go through all that stuff and go back to the minor leagues, I didn't want to do that. So I retired, came back home, and I always wanted to and figured that I would come back home after I got through playing. This is home, and I wanted to come back home. Wasn't sure what I might do, but I wanted to come back home and find something here.
Yeah, I know home was always a big part of who you were. You liked the Louisiana, all the game, the hunting, the fishing, and everything you can do here in Louisiana was a big part of your life. And, of course, family was also a big part of your life, and you wanted to be around that. You never was a big city guy. Now, me, on the other hand, I'd let the bright lights would have gotten in my eyes, with the big cities and so forth. But that never was a big thing with you, and you always wanted to, I know in your heart, come back home. But you had a great run. I mean, with those many years, and I don't know if anybody could have played with any more of the legends than you did. Really.
Well, that's true. Not many guys played with both Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. I think there were a couple other guys that did, but that's about all they can say that they played with both of those guys.
Yeah, and then having played in a World Series, that really caps it off. Having played in a World Series.
Yeah, that's right.
We're about done.
You tell people that today. I played in the World Series. Wow. They think you're some kind of superstar if you tell them you played in the World Series. Well, that still means a lot to a lot of people.
Oh, yes.
I think everybody knows about the World Series.
No doubt, and a lot of baseball fans around this part of the world that still remember. Of course, you played it in New York, and that's the media capital of the world. You still get cards and people from New York.
Oh yeah,
wanting you to sign autographs.
I get a lot of fan mail. I got more than that than I got when I played. And a lot of people from New York, from all over, really, New York, New Jersey, mostly in the Northeast, where they had a lot of Mets fans, and they had a lot of Mets fans really all over the country.
No doubt.
And so I still get a lot of fan mail from people.
Well, we're about done. I know we've talked a long time, and it's been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed hashing over and some things I didn't know that I found out about today. But I got a few more questions, maybe sort of baseball related, but maybe not baseball related. And I guess one of the first ones is, what did baseball teach you about life that had nothing to do with the game itself?
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to what I maybe alluded to earlier. There's things that happen a lot of times that you may not think at the time that it is very good, but it may turn out to be one of the best things that could ever happen to you. And baseball, a lot of ups and downs, and like I talked about earlier. A lot of failure, and life is a lot like that. It's just a lot of ups and downs when you're dealing with life situations. with family, with friends, with maybe your job. Things are not just they're not going to work out all the time. And of course, baseball is certainly that game because there have been so many games played. Things are just not going to work out all the time. But you just got to keep that positive attitude, and you just got to believe that good things are going to happen soon, and you just can't give up. You just can't give in, and you just got to keep plugging away.
That probably takes me to the next question. If you could go back and talk to that Little League baseball player there in Bossier City, what do you think you would tell him?
If I talk to a little leaguer?
No, if you could go back and talk to you as a little leaguer there in Bossier City, what would you tell your young self?
Well, for me personally, it was a situation where I knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't. I never thought about doing anything else. And I would just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm interested in other things. I do other things, but at the end of everything, I know what I want, and I think this is what God wants me to do, and He gave me just enough ability and skills to do what I wanted to do and what I think He wanted me to do. And I'm gonna give Him all the praise and the glory for that. So if I hadn't had that God-given ability, then I wouldn't have been able to do what I did.
Right. Well, what do you, George? What do you hope people remember most about George Stone Jr., the ball player and the man?
Yeah.
What do you hope people remember most about you? Ball player and the man.
I would hope that they would. Hey, this was a guy that gave it all. That he did the best he could in these situations, and he tried to treat other people like they wanted to be treated, like I want to be treated. I never had any prejudice. I played with a lot of black guys. Got a lot of black friends, and I've tried to treat them as just like I would want to be treated. And I would hope that that people would look at that and say, he did his best. He did what he was supposed to do. He learned from different people. And he tried to treat people the way they would want to be treated. And, I just wish we had more people in this country today and even worldwide that would just try to treat people, in a way that they'd want to be treated. And in a way that, would not cause any agitation, any kind of anything that would upset them.
Well, I think that's pretty good advice for all of us. That's something we all could take heed about. Well, when you hear, I know you follow Louisiana Tech baseball and college baseball, maybe not much pro you don't follow, but when you hear the crack of the bat today, and it's about to get started here in a few short weeks, where does your mind go first when you hear the crack of the bat today?
Oh yeah, you get the old feelings come back, but I think I'm at the age now that I do enjoy watching the college game. I think these kids in college now, they play the game right. Especially, I like the way Louisiana Tech plays the game, and most of these colleges do. You seem like they're kids that really love the game, and they're good players. They play the game the way it should be played, and so that's why I enjoy watching the college game. Like you said, the pro game I don't watch that much anymore. Maybe until playoff World Series time, I might watch some, but it goes back to the money thing. It's just seemed like to me it's just gotten out of hand with the money situation. And when you get a lot of money involved like that, it changes things. And I think it's changed the pro game. But the college game, I still enjoy it. It gets springtime, and I can get that old feeling. But I'm close to 80 years old, so I don't feel like I want to get out there and play anymore. But I do enjoy watching it.
Well, I know we didn't talk much about your family, and we had so much going. We've talked a good long time. Been a great conversation with you, and I know, of course, you married Diana while you were still playing ball, and she's been a great asset to you, a great supporter. And then you had your grandkids. You got 4 boys, and then a granddaughter from your second child, Susanna, and then Lauren had the 4 boys there, and I know you follow them some. But the family has always meant a lot to you, and I know your marriage and your family there meant a lot to you, and still does mean a lot to you as you went forward.
Oh yeah, means the world to me, and I know it does you too. And I, like you said, I had 2 daughters, Lauren and Susanna, and Lauren has 4 boys, and I have spent a lot of time with them, and they all played ball, baseball, played soccer, and I've kept up with them and followed their career. And I might have helped them out some, but I try not to get too involved with that. They have people to help them. So, but I do enjoy watching them, and I still got one of the younger grandsons who really loves the game, and he's got some skills. He's got some talent. And I'm maybe looking forward to seeing him play at the different levels. And got one granddaughter, one little girl. I say little girl, she's about freshman in high school, I think. And I got one. My oldest grandson is at Ole Miss, and of course, Ole Miss been following football. They've been in the playoffs and just got beat not long ago. But they mean a lot to me. Diana has been a wonderful helpmate, and I played about 8 years in the big leagues. 4 I was single, and 4 I was married, but we didn't have any kids till I retired, which is I think a good thing. It's a very, very tough life. I'm going to say that probably any professional sport, the family life is tough. The wife has to do a whole lot, especially if they don't live in the city that they play in. It's very, very difficult for a family, and especially if you got 2 or 3 kids. And sorry to say, the divorce rate is real high. Probably in any pro sport, but I know it is in pro baseball, and that's unfortunate. But they spend a lot of time away from each other, and there's a lot of travel involved. And if you don't have the right attitude, right upbringing, if you're not right with the Lord, you're gonna have a tough time. You're gonna have a tough time as it is, but if you don't have the right relationship, I think with the Lord, you're gonna have more trouble. So fortunately, we didn't have any kids till after I retired and came back here. And I was in education about 28 years. I taught and coached in this area for about 28 years, and enjoyed that. I coached. Matter of fact, a couple of left-handed pitchers that played pro ball, minor league ball. They both hurt their arm, but they were very good pitchers, and I enjoyed that time, and I've been a substitute teaching after I retired for about 15 years. So I still, enjoy being around young people, these kids, and I can help them in any way. Then I try to. I try to have a good relationship with them, but I just retired from subbing now, so I'm just mostly a home guy right now, and I still enjoy fishing, hunting, and I enjoy my lazy boy chair in this fireplace now more than anything else.
Yeah, well, I know the fishing part of it, big for you. I know you like to fish on the ponds, and I would say you took as much diligence in your fishing as you did almost in your baseball. I mean, you're very precise, and you've got it down to a science how you do your fishing. It's pretty neat to watch. I'm still not in that mindset there of taking it that serious, but of course that's just a hobby and fun for you to be able to do that in your fishing. How you fish, you take a lot of time with it.
Well, I do, and I've learned a lot about it. And I don't fish big time. I don't go on the big lakes. I don't have the big equipment to do that. So I got a number of ponds that I go to, and I enjoy being outdoors. And I enjoy places that I go where I don't see anybody, I don't hear any traffic. I just kind of get out with it. And that's what I like to do. And that's just me and the Lord out there.
Yeah.
And I have fun, and I catch fish, and I love to eat them. And I still enjoy hunting, enjoy being in the woods, enjoying nature. I just love to be out, enjoying God's nature.
Well, on a personal note, as we end here, I'm about 6.5 years younger than you, and you're always a great mentor for me, and always looked up to you as a human being, a person, and a brother. So I really appreciated what you what you meant to me and my family, our family, and it was very important for me to have that kind of mentor as growing up. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
we had a great mom and dad, like you said, and we were raised right, and we had a great extended family. And we spent a lot of time with them, cousins and all our relatives, and they were a lot of good people. Our grandmothers and granddaddies were all fine people that we learned a lot from. And I think you and I have gotten closer really over the last I guess since I retired, because like you said, you were so much younger than me while we were growing up. I just think you were my dumb kid brother.
Right.
And but we've gotten closer over the years, and I've enjoyed that. Relationship, and it just seemed like we've got more in common now than we ever have. And heck, we talk to each other just about every day. And I enjoy our relationship.
Yeah, you was a big help to me when I retired after 44 years of trying to find my place. So you were a big help to get me out a little bit and get me going. So I really appreciated that time when you came along beside me and tried to get me going there after my career. Anything else that have we left out anything that you would like to say here at the end? We've talked almost 2 hours. Believe it or not.
I'm give out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to my lazy boy chair and take a nap.
Yeah. Well, I really thank you. You've been the first conversation we've had live here on the Mike Stone Show, Music, Stories, and Conversation. And I'm so glad I started out with you here. And we'll let the people know when this will come on the air and be aired. I'm going to air it several times probably, but we'll let you know when that'll be coming on, so you can tell your friends and family. And I think they'd be interested in your whole story, which we've just about covered it all.
We've covered it all. Yeah, I appreciate you like you said, using me as a guinea pig, I guess, and talking to me first. And I'm proud of what you're doing. You're in your element there. I think like you said, I tried to get you hunting and fishing, but you never have really been much of a hunter. And I tried to get you fishing some, and you did a little bit, but I don't. Those weren't wasn't your thing either. So, but I think you're doing your thing right now, and you're very good at it. And I just hope you keep that up. Hope you're very successful with it.
Well, thank you again, Big Brother George. We've been talking to my big brother, George Herds Stone Jr., and we talked about his career in baseball, his life, and we went through this about the whole thing. But, you know, everybody's got a story, and it's just interesting. I hope we can bring more stories like this onto the show, and, you know, because everybody does have a story, and it's just interesting for me and hopefully for the audience to be able to hear what people have to say about the life. Thank you, Brother George, and if you'll hang on here as we cut it off, I'll be right back with you. But thanks again, and folks, we hope to see you. Stay tuned for times and dates that this show will be rebroadcast, or this conversation will be rebroadcast.
From all of us at the Mike Stone Show, music, stories, and conversations, we hope you have enjoyed the conversation with George Stone Jr. Mike's plan is to have a conversation each week to let you hear someone's story. And as Mike says, everyone has a story. Please contact the show by texting 318-202-2046 to recommend someone you think would make a good conversation. Don't forget to listen to Mike's live shows every Monday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. Also, Mike has many special programs during the week. To check times and dates, go to the show's Facebook page. You can find the page by searching The Mike Stone Show. Until next time, this is Mark. For all the folks here at the show, please stay on the bright side of the road and stay tuned right here for radio like you have never heard it before.